Hello, this is Dean Takahashi from VentureBeat. I'm here with Nathan Martz and Tim Schafer from Double Fine Productions, and they're here to talk about their new game, Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster. So, what is this about? This is not your usual kind of game, I guess, for you guys.
Well, no, it's original, it's uplifting, it's fun. I think that's pretty usual for us.
Monsters in it?
Yeah, monsters. The game is called Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster, and it's a storybook adventure that's using the magic of Kinect. You and your family can explore together. It's all about a bunch of different stories about monsters who have, each of them has a unique problem, and they need your help or your family's help to solve that problem. So it's a diverse game. It's about physical activity, it's about decoration, dress up, creativity, a little bit of something for everyone.
And how did you guys dream this up? I guess, Nathan, this was your idea. Huh?
Yeah, we have a kind of prototyping process at Double Fine called Music Fortnite, where we split the company up into 4 groups, and then each group has to make a game in 2 weeks. And Nathan was one of the first people to sign up for it, the very first time we did it, in the middle of Brutal Legend, and he came up with this idea of a world full of friendly monsters that you can interact with. And was inspired by what we inspired.
A lot of things. I mean, the biggest thing for me is that I wanted to make an experience that was uplifting. The original, the prototype name for the game was called Happy Song, because I wanted to make a game that you just, by looking at it or by playing it, made you feel as happy as when you hear your favorite song on the radio. And that original genesis was actually kind of about a musical prototype, but it evolved a lot since there. When we heard about Kinect and kept playing around with the idea, it really developed into a much more fleshed out, the current game, which is a still uplifting experience, but about exploring this whole world of full of monsters still, but now a beautiful storybook world.
And how did Sesame Street come into it? Were you thinking that from the beginning? Or?
No, we weren't actually. I mean, well, yes and no. So one of the big inspirations for us in the character design was Jim Henson. We really were excited about not designing monsters, not that were like scary or crazy, but that were like fun and accessible, that people would see and immediately feel comfortable with. And of course, there's no master of monster design, better than Jim Henson. So both Sesame Street and The Muppet Show were big influences for us, even before we knew that working with Sesame Street directly was going to be an opportunity. But after Brutal Legend, as we developed the game a little further, as we started to pitch it, we heard that Warner Brothers and Sesame Workshop were partnering. We talked to Warner Brothers and said, hey, we have this great idea, we think it could be an awesome partnership, and the rest, as they say, is history. And
I got to meet Brutal Legend, all my heroes from when I was 14, and I think with I just decided I wanted to meet all my heroes from when I was 4. So each period of my life and meet all of my heroes.
Yeah, so Tim, you've gone from this mature rated, Brutal Legend title to Sesame Street. That's a pretty extreme move there. Like, do you feel like you're restraining your sense of humor in some way, or are you targeting it to a new audience, I guess? Or?
No, I mean, I think our approach with games at Double Fine is that, life is broad, and there's a lot of topics and subjects and parts of life that games don't normally touch on. And the games can. Games can explore all these different areas. They can explore the world of heavy metal, they can explore people's inner psychoses and psychonauts, or they can explore, happy themes around childhood and innocence. And I feel like anything can be done well, or anything can be done, haphazardly. We always like to go and do things really well. Each game is a labor of love, and I think you can approach definitely something like Sesame Street and games for kids in a really personal, committed way, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think
so you get to leave the heavy metal and the sort of the head banging behind here, and
I'm sure there's some point we'll need to bang your head a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah, and it's also, I think one of the things that Sesame Street revolutionized was the idea of adult humor in a children's television program. And that's really no less true in this game, in the same way that for the television show, Sesame Street is about co-viewing, we're about co-playing. And for us, we design a lot of the humor in our cutscenes and our dialogue, some of the themes to actually really resonate with adults, while the activities and, of course, the monsters resonate with the children.
And you went with Kinect. What was the thinking for doing that, I guess?
It was a bunch of factors, but the biggest for us was that as we designed this game, we were like, wow, we have a great opportunity to do something that is really different, that's uplifting, that's family-friendly, and I feel personally as a developer that as a medium, we've got to force ourselves to try new and different, we basically need more verbs. We've made so many games about jumping, about shooting, about punching. We haven't made very many games about growing things, about empathizing, about being compassionate. That these are all really other important parts of the human experience. And so when Kinect came out, I was like, great, here's a brand new interface that's going to force us to be different, to explore different mechanics, and that combined with the demographic that we knew Microsoft would be going for is a perfect fit.
It's such a natural, it takes down a barrier for very young players. My daughter's just about 3, and ever since she was 2, I've been trying to get her to play games with me, but even games that are kind of kid-like, still using the controller, it's pretty hard for her to figure out running around on the screen. But as soon as she saw me waving to Marco playing what's called Monster, she just laughed and smiled and started waving, and it's just such an intuitive way for a young player to interact with fantasy characters. It's a really natural thing for the game.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can play it with your daughter there. It's probably the first game where you can do that, huh? Cool. Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.